Homestead-Miami Speedway is where multi-groove racing is at its finest. Tonight, 42 drivers look to take their racing talents to South Beach and tame the track under the neon-colored night in Miami-Dade County. Hello out there, we're on the air, and it's race night tonight in FLA. It's a humid evening in Homestead, Florida, as we're here for tonight's coverage of the NR2003 Mission Barbecue Cup Series, the Miami Vice 400. Once again, welcome everybody to tonight's Intercast on the North American Sim Racing Network. My name is Trey Wright, and we're here for lucky race number 7 of the season at Homestead, a wide, fast, and grippy mile-and-a-half track that has provided fantastic races every time we come here. But before we get into today, we'll recap last week's race at Atlanta, where Eric Monaco won with a last lap pass over Thomas Troxel and another fuel mileage finish at AMS, and took home the Octane checkered flag to tie Keegan Thompson for the all-time wins on the NASRN at 8. After 6 races completed in 2025, the points are starting to look more consistent on who will be the favorites throughout the season. As we take a look at them now, Dylan Matthews still holds the points lead, a 32-point lead over Carson Miller after a good run in the Folds of Honor Hooters 400. Miller, however, with a 4th place run at Atlanta, puts him back up into 2nd, 32 points behind the 75. Mitchell Collins is up 3 spots with a 14th place run and 9 stage points at Atlanta. Angel Gutierrez fell after pit strategy didn't go his way, but he still collected the most stage points out of everybody with 19, and which is why he only falls down to 4th. Rounding out the top 5 is Bruno Diacomo, who was up 3 positions after back-to-back top 5 runs. His 4th place finish at Atlanta was also his 3rd straight top 10 finish, and taking a look at 6th through 12th is Logan Williams, Riley Sampson, who falls down 5 spots, Rogel Dorn, who fell 3, Esteban Lasser remains in 9th, Owen Miles finds himself inside the top 10 in the points for the first time this season, Eric Monaco with his win up to 11th, and Roberto Crown Jr. rounds out the top 12, 228 points behind Dylan Matthews, coming into race number 7 this evening. We've raced 3 times at Homestead in the past, and these races get pretty wild, especially on the start. 3 and 4 wide aren't just doable at Homestead, they are the norm here for drivers to go, and we've even seen 5 wide work here in the past, but not for long, so don't put it past these drivers to go for bonsai moves at any point in this race. And a set of pit stops for everyone means that these cars are going to be sliding around like they're on ice towards the end of their runs, much like the Florida Panthers do in Sunrise, just a little bit to the northwest of here. It's a game of cat and mouse for these guys and gals tonight at Homestead, or as it's referred to in Panther country, as Panther versus Rat. But with that being said, it's that time of the broadcast once again, which means it's go time in Miami. Let's get on trackside and get the most famous words in motorsports to fire the engines for the Miami Vice 400.
Drivers, start your engines!
42 cars come to life on the pit lane at Homestead. Everyone in Miami-Dade County is ready for 54 laps of action this evening. John Andrews led the most laps last week, and he sits on the pole position in that number 7 Barstool Sports Toyota Camry. Alexander Rowe, the Daytona Beach native, one of 4 drivers from the Sunshine State on the grid this evening, starts on the outside of row number 1. Row 2, that's the 2nd straight 3rd place start for Roberto Crown Jr. He's to the inside of Matt Wolf into the 38. And in row number 3, the defending winner of this race, Zachary Fitzwater, starts next to the 14 of Keegan Thompson, who's looking for his 9th win in the MVCS. Everybody rolls on the back straightaway. This will be a 54-lap race at Homestead this evening with stages at laps 15 and 30. Pit window opening up at lap 35. And your 3 previous winners of the Miami Vice 400 are Madison Tall, Jordan Lopez, and Zachary Fitzwater. Fitzwater, the lone returnee in the grid this evening. The 99 NS Racing machine has won this race twice, in 2021 and in 2024. The Bowties Chevrolets are undefeated here in Miami. Dodge Challenger pace car dives on the pit road. Andrews brings them down the stretch and through the race's restart zone. The field flies, green flag is in the air, and we're off and running in Homestead. And what did we say in the pre-race? 4 wide for the race lead as Andrews goes from first to worst, 3 abreast at the stripe. And the Fort Lauderdale native of Charlie Davenport will lead lap number 1 by a combined 6/1000ths of a second. He'll go to the point in the 98. Some shuffling already in the midway through this field. Here's Danny Fallington shoving it in there in that 16. He's got to get out of the gas real quick. Fitzwater will be posted high on the outside lane. 4 wide in the back as Fallington in the middle of 3 wide. Bruno Diacomo to the low side. Gonna have to watch out for these guys pinching each other, and riding the lightning was both Barretto and the 75 of Matthews. Second straight race, Igor Barretto's gotten into the outside wall, and he'll go to the back. Roberto Crown Jr. are also towards the back in this 21. There's Angel Gutierrez, your Willow Springs winner, up to 3rd. Elijah Gordon's fighting for 4th with Fallington, and Owen Miles will crack his way into the top 10. Miles started this race 17th and already 4.5 laps in is up fighting for the top 5. 3 wide for this position. Back in here is Skylar Taylor. Looking to bring the boom in the Costco Camry. Daniel Bouchard will make it 4 wide. Again, they can run comfortably 4 abreast. And we've seen 5 wide work for a couple of times. Here's Thomas Troxel and Riley Sampson, both up into the outside wall. It's Charlie Davenport out front who has led all 5 laps in this race so far. Again, this is the calm before the storm, and you see that Hornet's Nest back in there, fighting for about 25th. These guys 3 and 4 wide. Campbell Marsh, Boot Scoot and Boog in his way down that inside lane as they're jockeying for position up in the middle. Logan Alexander on the high side. He'll go to the boondocks for a brief moment. Top 3 starting to pull away. Being led by the Fort Lauderdale native of Davenport. 3 wide back in here. Bradley Ream on the low side in the 2. Sampson reporting that 24 machine is really tight to start things off. That's the second time he has gotten into the outside wall in 2 separate instances of 3-car breakaways. Got to where we are currently here on lap number 8. Already at the midway point in stage number 1, Charlie Davenport dominating this race so far. Angel Gutierrez looking to change that. Here comes Angel down on the low side of Davenport. Diacomo trying to take advantage of these 2 get together. And our first lead change of the night will belong to the Bakersfield, California native, as up into the outside walls, the 92 of Braden Perez. One California native going up into the lead, and the other one goes in the outside wall. It's the Riverside, California native driving that 92, who's also reporting he is very tight on the start. When these guys come down the pit lane, expect a lot of balance changes on both that 24 and 92 cars, as they've both been in the outside retaining wall twice tonight. John Andrews, who started this race from the pole, has quickly fallen back to the mid-teens. Scratch that, he's down at 21st and continues to lose spots in that Barstool Sports Camry. Again, the inside lane is the preferred line, but these guys can run middle and even high at sometimes. It's all about momentum and track position. Gutierrez with the lead, sucking back to the rear bumper is at 98, and he's under fire from Diacomo. Bruno down on the low side, trying to get around this 98, who had to check up in the corner just a little bit. That might open the door for Diacomo coming off of 4. Daniel Bouchard trying to pick up some spots as Fogelman got squirrely off of turn number 4. He was able to save that 3 car. These guys getting really racy in the back as they've strung out of the front of this field. Top 12 cars, single file. Trying to change that is Daniel Bouchard, and he will. Davenport's getting a good run off of the corner as it continue to go 4 wide in the back. 3 laps to go in stage number 1 already, and trying to fight to the low side of that 28 machine is the 98. It's been a long time coming for Charlie Davenport, has not won a race in the MBCS since 2022. Both of his career wins in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series coming on road courses. Still looking for an oval win and would love to get a win at his home track here. A lot of race fans sporting black and red 98 shirts in the crowd tonight. Daniel Bouchard would love to get his first win of his Cup career. Looking strong so far in the 07. Same thing for Bruno Diacomo, who's looking for his 4th straight top 10 run. Proverbial white flag is in the air for stage number 1, and top 10 running pretty much single file for right now. Look, these guys are running so single file, looks like we're under a caution. Who's trying to get the job done in stage number 1? Gutierrez will come off of turn number 2. Will get his 2nd stage win of the season, that 28 car. And as they run, stage number 1 will end with the last one getting points, the 27 of Rogel Dorn, and now they're getting racy off of 2. See the results on your screen. Gutierrez picks up his 2nd stage win of the season. He got stage number 1's victory last week in Atlanta, and now the top 10 getting really racy as the tire wear is starting to come into play. Nathan Stapleton making some moves in the 97. Believe that is the first time in all 3 races we've had here at Homestead that we have had a caution-free 15 laps to start this race. Remember how chaotic last year's race was? 4 cautions in a 54-lap span? He had the big one on the back straightaway. These guys know that not a whole lot more is at stake. They're racing a lot more calm, knowing that every position doesn't matter. Remember, last year's race took place as the 3rd final race of the season, if I'm not mistaken. So we're moving up to the front end of the season. And all these guys racing flat out so far here at Homestead. Already 12 laps to go in stage number 2 as Angel Gutierrez dominating the 2nd half of the first part of this race. Charlie Davenport trying to hold off Daniel Bouchard for 2nd, and it's pretty much anyone's game back in here. I don't remember who was in 3rd at the time with those 2 drivers. I believe it's just been Bouchard, Gutierrez, and the 98 of Davenport that have been that way, but this has been a fantastic race so far. Nobody has been able to really drive away from anybody. It's a 0.4 of a second lead for Gutierrez that last time by. Again, these guys can do 35 laps around here in terms of fuel. Dano Georgi trying to split the middle in that 34 car. Here it comes on the outside lane. He pinned the 62 of Brennan Wilmington out low, and Diacomo will repay the favor in the 79. Diacomo has been really turning it on these last 3 weeks. Remember, like we said, 3 straight top 10 finishes for this 79 car. Big part of the reason why he's 5th in the point standings. Did have to dig himself out after a poor finish at Daytona back in week number 1. But ever since then, slowly but surely figuring it out there for the Aussie. Trying to become the... I believe we've had... Actually, no, Derek Hamill won the championship not as a rookie in season number 3. Trying to become the 4th rookie. 3rd rookie if you don't want to count season number 1. The 3rd rookie to win a championship if he's able to keep this consistency going. throughout this entire season. Now the Jaws theme playing for Charlie Davenport. This time behind the 28, still 0.2 of a second back of Garlington. Rather, that's Cameron Garlington's old car. Angel Gutierrez is the pilot. Full field, strung out. Alexander Rowe, who started this race on the outside pole, finds himself in 42nd. Shotgun on the field in that 84 machine. We're about 11 laps away from the pit cycle opening up. We're just a couple of laps away from the halfway point in this race already. A caution-free Miami Vice 400 so far. So just before we get to the halfway point, it is already time for a Twisted Tea race break. So let's go downstairs and go through the field, presented by Fram. Angel Gutierrez leads the way in car number 28. Charlie Davenport is second. Third is Daniel Bouchard. Fourth is Rogel Dorn. Top five caboosed by Corey Case. Sixth, Bruno Diacomo. Seventh, Igor Barreto. Eighth, Alex Lozano. Ninth, Cole Sampson. Top 10 completed by Nathan Stapleton. 11th is Bradley Ream. 12th, Logan Williams. 13th, Campbell Marsh. 14th, Eric Monaco. 15th is Matthew Hubert. 16th, Thomas Troxel. 17th, Dano Georgi. 18th, Logan Alexander. 19th, Brennan Wilmington. Top 20 capped by Alex Sanvitale. 21st, the 21 car, Roberto Crown Jr. 22nd, Skylar Taylor. 23rd is Danny Fallington. 24th, Braden Perez. 25th, Esteban Lasser. 26th is Ryan Durrani. 27th, Toby Murphy. 28th, Matt Wolf. 29th is Reggie Fogelman. Top 30 is caboosed by Carson Miller. 31st is Elijah Gordon, and here we go. Pit cycle opening up on lap number 28, and this entire field is going to cut this race in half when it comes to the pit strategy. Didn't expect these guys to come down this race early on, but we saw them come around the halfway point in Atlanta. Daniel Bouchard, Charlie Davenport, and a lot of drivers coming onto the pit lane, splitting this race in half, and the other half is coming onto the pit road, and these guys got to be careful coming down the service area here on lap 29. I think Bruno Diacomo. Is Diacomo on the pit lane? I don't believe he is. I believe Diacomo stayed out an extra lap to make sure that he could make it, and now he's going to come down the pit lane this time by. Cycle of pit stops always comes out as Dylan Matthews got damaged to the passenger side of that 75 machine. And a lot of shuffling going on here as Daniel Bouchard on his outlap right now, and everybody that came down on lap 29 coming out. We'll see who will win the overcut or the undercut. Angel Gutierrez coming onto the pit lane right now. Where's Daniel Bouchard come out? Bouchard's got a lot of momentum. Can he catch up to the 28? It's going to be close. Gutierrez coming around. Bouchard's got a lot of momentum coming around for the end of stage number 2. Bouchard's got the fresher rubber. He's got momentum, but Gutierrez will get to the line in time. Actually, no, he's not. He's still technically a lap down. Can Diacomo get this race lead away? No. Gutierrez will take it away from Bruno Diacomo, who's got 2-lap fresher tires than Daniel Bouchard. So this will be the end of stage number 1. As problems for Carson Miller on the pit lane. That will be the end of stage 2, rather. As everybody's cycling through. Your results on your screen right now, as that's 20 bonus points for Angel Gutierrez in his bank. Closing in on 20 laps to go, and trying to see the rest of the field, trying to see what happened with Carson Miller. It was an oil leak for the FYE Dodge, and he will be 2 laps down as he comes back onto the track. A very, very unfortunate situation for Carson Miller. See, Riley Sampson, Keegan Thompson did not have good jumps or good stops. Same thing for the 84 of Alexander Rowe. Zachary Fitzwater was marred deep in the field as well, and this is really going to make this field a pretty big pot of jambalaya when it comes to these racers. Top 2 cars pulling away as Angel Gutierrez has led the most laps in this contest so far. Trying to see where Charlie Davenport is. He is currently in 9th after dominating this race. First 5-6 laps of this race, but here's Daniel Bouchard looking for his first win ever at the Cup level. Bouchard has got 5 wins on the North American Sim Racing Network. All of them coming in GT cars. Can he add a Cup car on an oval to his resume is the million-dollar question. And right behind these guys is Corey Case. Case did come in with Daniel Bouchard, so he is going to have 1 lap older tires than Angel Gutierrez. Gutierrez is looking to get a lot of points here today. Fastest lap of the race belongs to the 45 of Taylor. The fastest pit stop will be on your screen later on. We're not sure who it belongs to. Based on our initial assessment, it looks like it might be Logan Alexander. A 14:39 second stop. Of course, we'll get the official result to you at the end of this race. But already less than 20 laps to go in the Miami Vice 400, and everybody strung out like a guitar so far. Bouchard has been knocking on the back end of this 28 car for the better part of 5 laps, and he's within striking distance of Gutierrez. Getting to the back end of this 28 is one thing, but making a pass for the race lead is a completely different animal, and I firmly believe that Bouchard is biding his time, looking for a good moment, but you saw there a little bit. Tiniest of bobbles from that 07. He's still going to stay tucked in line behind Gutierrez's 28 machine. Like we said, right before they dropped the green flag, Chevrolet has all 3 wins at this track. They're looking to add another one here for Gutierrez. The bow ties typically do well at tracks they dominate. Saw it at Rockingham. Didn't see it at Atlanta. It looked like a Toyota was going to win that race with Thomas Troxel back in there in the 00. But swooping it in last second was the Chevy Power Racing machine of Eric Monaco. Seeing where Monaco is in that 4 car. He's actually a little higher than we anticipated. He's all the way up in 10th. So looking like it's going to be back-to-back top 10 runs for Monaco so far, as Bruno Diacomo falling really back in the 79. Trying to fight his way to the front of this field as they're 3 wide. That's the battle for 8th right now, is Matthew Huber trying to go to the low side of Davenport. But it continues to be on with 15 to go for this race lead. Bouchard might have a run coming. 12 hundredths behind that 28. That's the closest he's been in this run so far. We know that Daniel is hungry. He's already got 2 wins this season in a Grand Touring car, and he's going to go to the low side of Gutierrez, trying to dump as much air as possible on the deck lid of that Home Depot Chevrolet. Drag race down the front straightaway. Can Bouchard complete the pass? Angel fighting hard on that outside, trying to get a run off of the corner, but there is the pass for the race lead so far. Daniel Bouchard out front, trying to get this win for Logan Sport and Dodge, and trying to get Dodge's 2nd win of the campaign. Remember, Gutierrez has got 1 lap fresher tires than Bouchard. I believe he's saving them for a special occasion, and that's what this race is. Whatever adjustments they did to Bouchard has made that Dodge Charger streamlined and perfect She's starting to pull away a little bit from Angel. "11 laps to go this time by. Does Corey Case have enough time to get into this battle? Quarter of a second is the gap between the 07 and the 28. For Gutierrez, he's got 20 bonus points in the bank so far. But this win would mean a lot for Daniel Bouchard, and I mean a lot. Still not counting the chickens before they hatch. So a long way to go in this race. 10 laps to go in Homestead-Miami. Doesn't look like there's going to be any lap traffic in the way. It's Keegan Thompson on the other side of the speedway. 40 cars on the lead lap. Everybody's still on the track, and you saw it right there. A tiny bobble from Gutierrez. That could be the difference between who wins this race and who loses. But look at the run that this 63 has gotten. Corey Case gaining 0.3 of a second on the leaders in just 2 laps. And it's still on like Donkey Kong back in here. Giacomo back inside the top 10 for right now. We'll see if anybody is able to get around Carson Miller and fight for this race lead, but right now it's going to be a 3-car battle for this top spot. You see the amount of time that Corey Case has gained. It's another 1/10 of a second knocked off, and he is coming, ladies and gentlemen. Dodge, Chevrolet, Toyota, your top 3, and they're all underneath a blanket right now. Case trying to spoil the party for the Californian and the Canadian. Campbell Marsh wide off for the corner, but we stay green. Now, what can Angel Gutierrez do to try to set up a counterattack on that 07? But he is playing a 2-front war right now. If he bobbles up, not only does he not gain first, he's probably going to lose third. Corey Case just barely had to get out of the gas there in this 63. Like we said at the top of the show, the end of these races typically end up in a cat and mouse situation. The Panther right now is Gutierrez, and the Rat is Bouchard. Matthew Hubert trying to join this battle, but he's 2 seconds back. Gutierrez trying to go to the low side. Bouchard blocks him. 5 laps to go for Daniel Bouchard. 2 drivers running behind him. Bakersfield, California's Angel Gutierrez, and Delta, Ohio's Corey Case. Top 3 cars, single file, trying to get up in this battle. Is in the battle for 4th is Bradley Ream. He'll get it around this 23 car. 4 to go as they cross the start-finish line. Bouchard trying to end the second longest drought in MBCS history. Cole Sampson holds on to that record. He right now is fighting for 6th. A little too far back unless something happens in the late stages of this contest. It's been a caution-free night so far tonight in Homestead-Miami. Bouchard is hoping that it stays that way for the next 3 miles. Corey Case down on the low side, trying to set up a charge on the 28. Those two go side by side. That's likely going to be curtains for Daniel Bouchard. 4 car lengths is the lead between him and Gutierrez. Right on the back end of the 63. Or the 28 is the 63. Sticks high in the air. 2/10 the gap between Gutierrez and Bouchard. 2.5 miles separate the Ottawa, Ontario native from his first win at the Cup level. He's been dominant in the FMGTC so far this season. 2 miles remain in the Miami Vice 400. Off of turn number 4, white flag in the air, one more time around the Homestead-Miami Speedway for Daniel Bouchard. Right behind him is Angel Gutierrez, won both stages tonight. They're going down the back straightaway. Is Gutierrez within striking distance? He'll go to the low side. Not nearly close enough in time. Case looking for second, but it's all behind Ottawa's Daniel Bouchard. Checkered flag in the air. Finally, the curse breaks and 1 strikes for Daniel Bouchard. It took nearly 4 years for Bouchard to get in the Gatorade victory lane, but he has done it. Daniel Bouchard for Papa Murphy's Pizza, Logan Sport, and all the veterans out there that are still winless and trying to get their first wins out there. Gets the job done. That Logan Sport numbers 07. Papa Murphy's Dodge Charger. And becomes the 59th different winner in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series. And becomes the 8th different driver to win in all 3 series of competition here on the North American Sim Racing Network. Taking a look at your official standings. The first win in a stock car for Daniel Bouchard, his 3rd win of the year on the NASRN, 2 wins in the Grand Touring level, and a win here in Homestead, Florida. Angel Gutierrez dominated this race, but a pass with 12 laps to go gave Daniel Bouchard the lead, and Gutierrez still swept both stages. It's going to end up still a lot of points there for the 28 after fuel strategy didn't go his way last week, and he'll be back inside the top 10 in points. Great run for Corey Case. Drove both of these cars down and hunted them down and just couldn't get quite past them, but Case made this race interesting for both Bouchard and Gutierrez. Igor Barreto finishes this race in 4th, and Alex Lozano rounds out the top 5. Did not mention either of those cars once tonight, but that is how they fall. Cole Sampson is 6th. Bruno Diacomo keeps his top 10 streak alive with a 7th place run. Bradley Ream, Matthew Hubert, and Nathan Stapleton complete the top 10. All 42 cars finished this race. 40 of them were on the lead lap. Dylan Matthews had to make extensive repairs on the pit lane for that 75. She finished a lap down for the points leader. And Carson Miller finished 2 laps down after an oil leak on the pit lane. Puts that 8 car all the way in the boondocks, and will definitely shake up the point standings going into Nazareth next weekend. Trying to see where Mitchell Collins finished. Collins finished 21st, but he was 137 points behind Dylan Matthews and Carson Miller. I believe that might be enough to put Angel Gutierrez in the points lead coming out of today. A 2nd place run. Second place run for Gutierrez, including sweeping both stages. A huge points day for Gutierrez, even if he didn't get the win. Got to think about the big picture here, and that'll put Gutierrez in the points lead going into the Tasty Cake 400 next weekend. Same thing for Bruno Diacomo. That'll probably put him in 2nd or 3rd, I'd say. And a lot of guys having good or bad days. None of them having middays. But really tough break for Dylan Matthews and Carson Miller, and a really good points day for Gutierrez, even though he didn't end up in Gatorade victory lane. But that's going to do it here from the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Congratulations once again to Daniel Bouchard for winning the Miami Vice 400 for the first win in his Mission Barbecue Cup Series career. And we'll see you next week up north in the Keystone State, the great state of Pennsylvania. Coverage for the Tasty Cake 400 from the Nazareth Speedway starts at 7 p.m. Eastern next Saturday night on April 12th, right here on the NASRN. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, ladies and gentlemen. Here are your point standings after race number 7 of the 2025 NBCS season. And from Homestead, Florida, on behalf of the North American Sim Racing Network, my name is Trey Wright. Have a great evening, folks. We'll see you next week at the track.